Alright, start a new 30-minute game. See what we get today. We have the white pieces. So really the only opening I've studied is the queen's gambit. Let's see what our opponent does. This, if they play c6, can pivot into a Caro-Can, which would be sort of appealing because I know that decently well. It looks like they're going to do it. So we'll play queen's gambit and see what happens. They can take, they can develop a different way. If they develop like a knight, I will just take the pawn. If they develop another pawn, do knight to c3, and then sort of continue our development normally. I learned recently that if you left-click somewhere, it clears out all the arrows, so that should help a little bit. Analysis. Okay, they take. My options are e4 or knight f3. I like knight f3. That's sort of what I've been studying. The idea is it prevents e4 from happening. And they play f6, sort of weakening their queen side, or king side. I don't love that for them, but since they didn't play knight f6, in fact they played a move that prevents knight f6, I can develop all the way to e4 and take up some more of the center. This opens up recapturing the gambit pawn, and then I can get castled. This is a very appealing diagonal to attack, so I'm excited to see, once I get a little bit more developed, sort of what happens there. This may well be a quick game. But I don't want to get carried away. I want to develop thoughtfully, play principled chess, and yeah, we'll see what happens. So far, not much from our opponent. I also have this, this queen to a4 check available if for some reason they plop a piece down on this square. Okay, b5, sort of trying to hang on to the gambit pawn. As I understand it, generally not advisable. I don't think there's any traps I could drop on my opponent, but I do think a4 here is a nice idea, potentially opening up a rook. A little bit early. But yeah, I think the general recommendation is don't bother reinforcing this pawn, you just gotta let it go. I think generally what black wants to do in this position is knight out, e6, and eventually playing c5. Okay, so they're adding more reinforcements. Just take that. So this is sort of a weakness on my queen side. I do want to get these pieces developed pretty quickly. I could go like knight out. This is curious. Maybe just get castled real quick. Bishop to e2. And they get castled, yeah. Okay, so we're safe and we can sort of develop our queen side without worrying about if our opponent is up to some shenanigans. But I don't think they're up to any shenanigans. Yep, they lost the f3 square for their knight, so I think I'll c3, hitting their bishop. They might drop back to a6 if they really want to protect this pawn. Yeah. It's protected. And then I think check. Yeah, I like that. So check, They maybe move a knight in front. I'm likely to get the pawn back. And maybe another piece. You know, we'll see. Pawn, okay. So we'll take our pawn back. Yep, that's pretty much forced. So we're back at parity. This pawn is well protected. What can we do? What can we do? Queen comes out. We could somehow reinforce this diagonal. We want to get our bishop out. That doesn't feel amazing. I don't want to overextend myself. These pawns are a little bit imposing, even if they've sort of like weakened this f-file here. Let's sort of do a safe developing move, connect the rooks. Don't get too crazy with it. I do like our position. Our opponent's position feels cramped. They've got this knight here, impeding the development of their dark square bishop. This knight is stuck. They can't really go anywhere. Yeah. But I'm lacking ideas. We could, like... That's cool. So, like, forking the queen and the rook. Okay, so they certainly can't castle kingside. Maybe they're trying to free up this spot for their knight. I don't know. But yeah, so if we go here, here, if they take, we win the exchange and then have, like, check ideas. Otherwise, they need to move their queen. So let's execute that plan. I don't see really what else they can do. I guess if they put their knight on a6, we just get it for free. Okay, so they push. This is not going anywhere anytime soon, so we can react to this threat. Maybe we just drop our knight back, because there aren't really any safe, decent squares. So we can drop back to d2. That doesn't feel like the end of the world. Boop. Opponent's position, not incredible. I think we've got all of our pieces developed. They're sort of cramped back there on the 6, 7, 8 rank. They could continue pushing this g-pawn. I would take the h-pawn. I don't know. Any sort of threats in our position? This pawn is weakly defended, so we might consider pushing it up at some point. What else is like not great in our position? This b2 pawn. I often, on both sides of the board, like the b2 pawn and the b7 pawn, as black, I feel like is often a weakness, because as soon as you move away the bishop that's defending that pawn, it sort of induces a weakness. I know that's an idea in the Caro-Kann, is like you play queen b6, and you can often just take that pawn. So what is our opponent going to try to do? They might develop a knight or a bishop. This is really the square for the bishop. This blunders the bishop. They're trying to uncramp their position there. Knight move, yeah. So I think we can proceed with our plan. Let's make sure that's still viable. Knight moves here. If they capture, we take their rook. Otherwise, they have to move their queen and we get the knight anyway. Do they have any opportunities for counterplay? I don't believe so. They move their queen out of the path of the knight, back into the path of the knight. So I think we just take that, and I suspect this will be game over in short order. That's a nasty move. Yeah, this is not good for our opponent. Yep, and black resigns. Alright, quick game. Somehow I had a miss. Let's see if there's anything I could have done better in our short game. Let's mute this so we don't get the fella talking to us. Let's take it move by move. That was 17 moves. Felt shorter than that. Queen's Gambit accepted. F3 is a book move. F6 is a weird move. Yep, E4, B5. I think A4 is the right way to punish. Sort of, they play B5 and try to protect the pawn, the Gambit pawn in that way. Just played a lot of weird moves in this game. A4 is an inaccuracy. Okay. They wanted me to just... Oh, I see. So they wanted me to take the bishop, knight recaptures, and then queen comes in with check. So that way I win 2 pieces for the rook. Because they can't move this knight out of the way, and they can't defend it. Yeah, okay. So a little missed tactic there. That'll be good to know. Good to know for the next Queen's Gambit game that I play. Yep. Four's best D2 is good. Oh, that's interesting. This was an option too. So sort of hitting their queen and perhaps threatening more tactics and just ignoring the threat to our knight. Yep, it's a mistake. Black resigns. Alright, quick game. Another victory for the series. Have a good one, y'all.